Probably 2019, I believe, is the year me and my brother started first making music. And then before that, he's been making music since he was 13, and his whole story kind of correlates like into mine because like I always thought rap was oversaturated. I knew I was going to be an artist, like I knew I was going to do something, but he's like, "Come on, just rap." But, like he gave me lyrics and he let me try them out, and he's like, "Oh, you actually like have a flow and this and that." So then we started pretty much on that first EP that we made. Uh, yeah, and then that took a few years in itself. So he's pretty much the reason he like I've always been into hip hop and like all sorts of music, but he's the main reason that like to get me to start rapping. You know what I mean? I want to say 2009 or 10. It was definitely Bang Pow Boom era. It might have even been 2011. Bang Pow Boom was the newest thing. And then Tech N9ne, I knew about Tech N9ne before I knew about Strange Music. Weirdly enough, like as being a little kid, I was probably only like 9, 10, something like that. Like being introduced to everything. So just being a kid, you don't realize why he's like yelling strange at the end. But that was probably not too far after 2013, 14, maybe something like that. I think Prozac was still there and Ritz. Like it was like the almost the end of that era. Holy shit! You know what I mean? Just how fast can you rap? You know what I mean? Like my brother's first joke with him all the time was he always forgets his name all the time, so he's always like Tech N9ne. So like that was always fun. But yeah, no, just I feel like that's everyone's first reaction is, oh my god, like how fast can one man rap? Oh, what song even was it? I feel like it just felt right. You know what I mean? As weird and as Juggalo and supernatural as that sound, like it just sounded like music to me. And like I've been around, like our dad introduced us to like Tupac and like Pantera. Like we've been around like all like rap and metal like our whole lives. But then it just made sense. I liked how alien the synths were, how like story driven it was. It was just like, you didn't hear anything else like it, but it just felt like they figured it out before everyone else did. You know what I mean? Definitely underground music. Like I said before, like I didn't even really like. I knew I was going to be an artist, whether it was drawing, whether it was what I do. A lot of shit now. That's kind of like a big reason for it. But I never even expected to be a rapper, let alone someone that like people would like to hear and shit. You know what I mean? But definitely like underground music. Matter of fact, I run a page called New England Underground, and that puts on like all New England music, like across everything. Like I have this document sheet, and it documents like every artist like that I can find in New England, separated by genre and shit. Like I just love music and art as a whole. You know what I mean? I don't know what I would be without it. You know what I mean? That's kind of like we did base our music kind of like in the like what most haters would say like the most like tasteless era of like horrorcore with like all the shock rap shit. That's what I grew up on, and I'll be damned if I said that I love my King Gordies and Bazaars. You know what I mean? Some people wouldn't say that because they're like, oh, he's just like mad weird. Like, why would you want to hear about something like that? The fact that someone's making a rap about it is hilarious. Like, you don't have a sense of humor. So, yeah, no, definitely. I don't think Beast and Blade would be very different without. We'd probably be more like Necro and Ill Bill without ICP, you know what I mean? Which I think me and him kind of already are. We have that brother relationship where they don't like, we get along enough to do shit, you know what I mean? It's not like we're actually like fist fighting like them, but Kyle be doing Kyle, and honestly, Alex be being Alex too. I'm an asshole, I guess sometimes. I try not to be, but I guess I am. Catch myself being an asshole, like, damn, I'm an asshole. So, like, when all those artists started coming out, I feel like more ICP and the early artists did, because once you have those people that lay the groundwork, like, first of all, you got all the people that laid the groundwork before, like, your Two Live Crews and NWAs and all those. But then, like, in Psychopathic itself, once ICP and Twiztid kind of paved that road for you, I mean, you know, like, you can't get too freakier than that. Like, once you're already like, oh, okay, everyone's kind of got a gimmick, like, you know, yeah, I guess that would probably, like, end at, like, ABK, I guess, because, like, or maybe Blaze, somewhere around that era, because, like, you're already so used to the gimmicks that you're like, oh, all right, like, they have a gimmick and they're going to rap about, like, their thing, you know what I mean? So I feel like that like Shock and Wonder was probably over by Blaze. Like, oh, okay, everyone's kind of like got a gimmick, or maybe even ABK. You know what I mean? Because then you're like, you see all these different wrestling type things, and I feel like that's probably what became more acceptable. Like, not even the lyrical content, more of just like taking that approach of like instead looking at rap as like wrestling. I feel like that's what they kind of like made more acceptable. Communication with artists and like introducing yourselves. ICP has this big aura around them of like, and like I love the kayfabe of like that you like you'd think that they're actual murderous clowns because they don't talk to anybody, and when they do, they're fucking crazy. But Tech, I've heard multiple stories where like upcoming artists are like coming around, or like a big artist is coming to KC, and he'll personally introduce himself and like introduce strange music and all that, and that's like a very professional, communicative way to do that. But I can't say ICP's approach is bad either, because like I love kayfabe to have like a mystique around you. And you're absolutely right about them having a backing. I feel like instead of what Tech N9ne did different, what ICP did was they had that merch game on lock. So you have Tech being very communicative. I can't say that word for right now for some reason. But you have him being very professional, but then you have their mystique and their like merch game and like crazy show. Well, they both have crazy shows, so I guess that's going to attract you no matter what. Yeah, I guess just the professionalism answer, I guess. Everyone will claim they have freedom, right? Like how every like genre will claim like, oh, they're family, like, oh, this like family. It's truly family with the Juggalos and technicians first off, and it's true freedom like on those labels. Like I feel like those are like as real indie labels as you can get. You know what I mean? Like they're made by like real people for real people, and they don't stand for censorship, which is like always gonna attract, you know, all the artists that like real true artists there that like you can't censor art, and like a real artist don't, you know, they're gonna go somewhere where that isn't a possibility. Like even with Brother Lynchung's thing, which the one time Tech did like try to like almost censor something, he just made it even doper. It was the Brother Lynchung video where he's like, there's a whole text beginning part where it's like, Strange doesn't like censoring, but this video is so crazy that we need to give you this warning. So it like he kind of made the censored, quote unquote, censoring even fucking cooler, because it was just like, oh, this is like something I shouldn't be like watching. You know what I mean? Having that sort of like satisfaction to it, or you know, for people that look for type of music like that. So even in a world like when they have to try to be professional, they still find their own way to be like, no, we're not, you know, for doing things the way you want to do it. We're going to do it how we want to do it. Even if we have to abide by your thing, we're going to do it our way. Which I think that separates them pretty heavily. It can definitely be empowering, because it's like, if it fits your art, you know what I mean? Like what you're doing, if it fits your gimmick and like you really thrive in that, like, I mean, fuck, you can even look at like someone like Kiss, where they did their whole thing and they like it didn't box them in. I feel like there's like definitely a stereotype now, but I feel like the people that make those stereotypes as well nowadays don't even listen to, like, most people that criticize underground or like local like music, they don't go to shows, so they don't know what it sounds like. So it's like they're building their stereotype off of like something that like is not even like reality. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, some of it can be like real. Like I don't know if you know like who the Joker is, but he made a what song was it in? Yeah, I believe it was the Funk Volume Contest song. So he was friends with Hops, and they had like a beef. So then he entered their contest just to try to like win it, like out of spite. And then at the end of it, he like did like a diss to like quote unquote Juggalo rappers. Like my brother will get offended by this because he thinks he's talking to like all Juggalo rappers, but like when you listen to the verse, he's talking about like what we would call Juff rappers. You know what I mean? Like they don't really know how to rap, and they're just like pure ICP clones, just like murder, 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 kill your girlfriend with a bomb at the House of Horrors. You know what I mean? Just like nonsensical, like just a Juggalo trying to rap, you know what I mean? Not a real Juggalo rapper. That's kind of like who Juggalo is criticizing. And I feel like a stereotype is definitely made around that kind of like image, but it's like that's not a real Juggalo rapper. You know what I mean? You should judge the Clockworks and judge the super famouses. You know what I mean? Granted, I don't think they're like were around when those stereotypes were like first made, but nonetheless, like if you're gonna make a stereotype, you should maybe make it on realities and like things that are actually happening. Being able to say whatever you want, do whatever you want, and everyone just kind of watches and they go, "Yeah, that's that guy, just doing his thing." You know what I mean? Or like when people can truly interpret your art in a way that isn't like in the worst like light possible. You know what I mean? Like someone not giving you the benefit of the doubt because like at that point, like, what are you really like making art about? But like you've seen our shows. Like we rap about crazy like shock humor stuff, but like it's nice to have like I might be answering this wrong, but I'll still continue down this like tangent. It's like it's very nice to have the freedom of like you can rap about the crazy stuff we do, like mentioning like rape and doing all these things, and like you like no one like you don't get off stage and someone goes, "Oh my god, did he really like rape someone?" You know, you get that view and look because like people, give you that freedom to say crazy shit and like they get the like music in the genre they're like going to participating in and like like what they're a fan of. So that's I mean, because like most independent artists, that's like what they seek is that freedom. So I'd say by being as real as they could, like it's said in the book Behind the Paint, and it is very true. Like when they were seeing the Juggalos, they're really just us. They're just all over the world. Like there was no like boundary or. The closest thing I can compare it to, I'll compare them all day. I love Clockworky, and that's literally how Clockworky is at shows, and that's how they build a super solid fan base, is like truly interacting with your fans, and like they're the most humble, coolest people like ever. You know what I mean? You wouldn't think that they're like, I think they're Juggalo royalty in my eyes. You know what I mean? Like they're the bomb diggity, but they wouldn't even like give off that perception because they're so chill and cool. Like you'd think that they're just fans at the show that like just love local music. You know what I mean? Like they're awesome. I think ICP did. I wouldn't even call it a tactic. It's just like they were truly appreciative of the chance that they were given with music and like that opportunity. So they like fully grasped it and they're like, nah, these are like people. You know what I mean? They didn't look at anyone like a dollar sign. People argue that they do now, and maybe that's why some of the magic was lost. But at the end of the day, like Shaggy and Violent J could walk around the gathering all day and like just have the time of their life. You know what I mean? Like there's like no worry for anything because they know that like they built, you know what I said? Not what I said. What you said, like a very loyal, base, and they put in that work and that communication with everyone, and they reaped what they sowed. Yeah, I'd say so. My senior year in high school was like terrible because like all the COVID shit. So like I don't know. I'm a juggler. I'm a misfit and outcast. I didn't hang out with a lot of people at school. So then when I had to switch high schools, that's like pretty late, into like a school career to just start making new friend groups and this and that. And then with like the whole COVID thing happening, I pretty much just went into senior year, and I was just like, I need to get out of here. So being that like depressed and skipping a lot of details, but I was very depressed, and then going into pretty much started rapping right out of high school, I believe, and just to see like the inspiration you can cause just by like being a performer, not even by the rap at first. Well, actually, there's that too. Seeing people actually like dig my raps, like that whole EP is like all the first stuff I ever wrote. You know what I mean? And like I'm like super proud of that, and to see like rappers that have been like doing it for a good amount of time, and they're all like bobbing their head and they're like digging it. It's like, oh damn, like life is kind of cool. You know what I mean? Like I'm thinking of a line from an ICP song right now. All of this just days after you was on the Wizard of the Hood. Violent J's talking about like, oh, you were gonna give up, and now like a few days later you see how fresh life can be, and that was like literally like what doing the first show was like, or even the tour after that. I feel like it was even more like that. Like, man, you think life is shitty, but there's sunshine. It was good shit. The internet definitely helped at first. Like, you know what I mean? With like horrorcore.com and stuff like that. I feel like there was a super tight knit community that was like nationwide with the internet at first. And with the internet's evolution of like, there's really no more niches anymore because like there's no big. Everyone kind of likes their own little thing now. There's not really like a big conglomerate thing that everyone likes, and if there is, there's very few of them nowadays. It's kind of like gone backwards. So because there's no more niches, I would say it's kind of like, or not no more. It's like a very broad thing to say, but I think it has evolved to a point where it is a little bit harder to grow because everything's kind of like underground. Everyone likes to feel like they're finding their own little personal place on the internet. So when like the underground was the underground, and now there's so many undergrounds that it's like you like I don't know. It's hard to pick one. You know what I mean? That's why we have like an influx of juggalos now because I feel like so many undergrounds have been taken up that like they're like, all right, let's go back to basics, and like it's finally like cool to be a juggalo again because it was so niche for so long, and now that kids are finding out like now they're invading this underground, but they might go go back to another one or come back. Like, all that to say, yeah, I think it is a little bit harder now. We are not signed by Lethal Records, actually. That would be cool, but I'm not. I tell Kyle all the time because Kyle wants to talk to Fury about that, but I'm like, there's no real benefits. You know what I mean? There's like, we do everything that we need to do. Like, what is someone else going to do for us that like we already don't do? You know what I mean? It's just time to keep grinding. And another Clockwork Key shout out. Super inspired by when Kyle Combs says all that because like I just like counterculture and like fuck the like system like type stuff anyway. Like I like punk and hardcore stuff. That's like what most of that's built on. And he has a lot of like we're never joining like a major record label, but like in Pride kind of like bars. And I find it super inspiring. Actually, it ties back very nicely to this interview because everyone always thought it was weird, or the people that I talked to about it, they always thought it was weird that Super Famous was signed to LLE, Long Live Evil with Alex Zool, but Clockwork E wasn't. When they were at the same level for a while, but I think it would be hard to argue that Clockwork E isn't bigger than Super Famous like now. So everyone thought it was weird that they weren't signed, but if you listen to their music, they don't really want to be signed. And they proved their point phenomenally with them calling out Tech N9ne to be like, yo, acknowledge us. We are the next upcoming like Midwest thing, like acknowledge us. And Tech didn't really like understand the message, but he got it like loud and clear. So like even without a label, they were able to like pull this fanfare so much that like Tech N9ne had to be like, what are you guys doing? You know what I mean? Like that was crazy. So yeah, you definitely don't need a label. But if Fury wants to sign me, that'd be kind of cool just to have that. At first, it started as just to be the local Rhode Island music man. Like that's like all I like. I love like when I get off stage and someone tells me that they want to like do something now. Like they want to like go start their own band, or they want like it's. And it's happened a surprising amount of times, but it's awesome. I like that's what you do it for. You know what I mean? Or to even like see. So me and Kyle, we threw our first show, like our big show with Clockwork as the headliners, and every step of the way there was a problem because that was the same day as the Brown University shooting. Yeah, so like a mile away, we were at AS220, and that got canceled because of the school shooting. So we had to then go to West Warwick, but to see the like people that did come out, to see all the people that were gonna come out, and like. And granted, it fell through because people were told not to come because, there was an active shooter on the loose. But, like, to see all, like, the positivity on Facebook and then to see it in the club, like, we packed this little club up so much and it was, like, the weirdest setup, but everyone had, like, a blast. And to see moments like that, like, you brought everyone together and everyone had, like, the greatest night of their lives, even through, like, especially through a big tragedy like that. So, moments like that, I would like that to be like my legacy. Oh yeah, to also build on that, it started as the Rhode Island Music Man, but running New England Underground, everyone like over New England kind of loves me now, or I don't know if they know me that well, but they appreciate my service and they like find value in it. So even that is like an awesome legacy. You know what I mean? Like just to be like the guy that helped the scene when no one else would. You know what I mean?